Hi friends, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Katie, and we are going to be moving our lower body a lot, getting a nice stretch in through the legs, and hopefully building some strength as well in our float today. So if that sounds good to you, let's jump right in by finding a seat in the middle of your mats or wherever feels comfortable. Maybe you grab a couple of blocks for practice today, or a cushion or a bolster. Props can help the ground to come up to us, but they can also help us to extend ourselves and find new positions to put our body in, challenging the brain and the body. And so I encourage them in your practice, whether you're an advanced or a beginner practitioner. So let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll close down the eyes and lengthen out through the spine. And just take a few minutes to become grounded today, here, now. You have the time to be here, and it's awesome that you're taking it. And notice how you're arriving, what sensations are landing here on your mat with you. Then just let them be. You don't have to attach or put any judgment on them. And then with your next inhale, let's sweep the arms high overhead. Eyes can stay closed and touch the palms overhead. Just notice the sensation of the shoulders. And as you exhale, shrug the shoulders down, keep the hands together, and then bend the elbows, bring palms to heart center. And just take a moment, maybe settling an intention for the practice. Or not. I mean, it's your choice. If it feels good to you, you should do it. Next, exhale, let's flutter the eyes open. And however you're sitting, I'm going to invite you to come first into a Baddha Konasana. So that means the bottoms of our feet will come together. We're coming into this bound angle pose, and we're letting the knees fall out to the side. Now, maybe this is a really intense posture for you to start off with. And if that's the case, here is an awesome opportunity to use some blocks, just setting them under your knees wherever feels appropriate to give your hips a little bit of support as they begin to open. If you're feeling like blocks aren't necessary today, just set them off to the side, but we'll come back to them later. And then wherever you are, let's interlace the 10 fingers and reach them around the toes, grabbing hold beneath the toes, and then straightening through the elbows, lifting through the heart space, and pressing the hips downward. You'll notice if you think about pressing downward with the hips, we've got this ball and socket joint where the femur meets the hip bone, and it rolls itself open. So we're externally rotating our legs. It's a lot of talk just to say that we are lengthening by rotating our bones. Pretty cool. Muscles, skeletons, they work together. And then maybe you scoot your hips a bit closer, or maybe you take the toes a bit further out, whatever is feeling right to you. But we'll take a big breath in all together. Inhale. And then as you exhale, pull the belly button in, round the shoulders, round the spine, taking like a cat pose. We'll hold that for a minute, stretching through the shoulders, tuck the chin in towards chest. Really see if you can reach the spine away from the belly button. And then let's inhale. Lengthen out through the spine, straighten through the arms. And exhale, let's round again. See if you can press knees towards floor, using that hip joint. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, lengthen up and out of the collarbones, nice and long. And last time, exhale, let's round through the spine. Inhale, straightening up through the spine. And let's bring our hands to our knees. We're going to press the knees down as far as they will go. If the arms don't straighten, no problem. But wherever you are here, we're going to drop the right elbow in towards center. Then your left elbow will definitely bend. So taking a little stretch there. And inhale back through center, and as you exhale, drop left elbow towards center. Maybe the gaze goes over the right knee. And then inhale back through center, and we're going to take our right hand to the opposite knee, right hand to left knee. And inhale, reach the left arm up and over, dropping right shoulder towards right knee. Feeling a nice big side stretch, spiraling heart towards sky. And then inhale back through center. This time left hand comes all the way over, grabs hold of right knee, and right hand reaches up and over as the left shoulder drops towards left knee, big side stretch. Nice work. Let's inhale back through center. Grab hold underneath the toes once more, lift the chest high, and then as you exhale, fold forward. You can round the back body here. Let the forehead melt towards the toes and just take a moment. Let the head hang really heavy. Maybe you shake the head side to side. And then let's think about that external rotation of the hips and see if we can invite it to be a little more open. The knees might come closer to the floor. Maybe the elbows wing out, helping create some resistance. Next inhale, gaze comes forward, and as you exhale, slowly come to rise. Hands come behind the knees, and we're going to plant the feet as wide as, well, wider than the hips even, and just set the hands down behind the hips and windshield wiper the knees side to side. Nice and slow. Dropping them one side and then the other. Little shake out of that external rotation. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands closer to the hips and take the feet out to a wide posture. So we have this wide leg seated stance. And from here, we're going to work on building a little bit of strength. So we'll take our blocks, one of my favorite things to do, and we're going to set our blocks up so that they're either on medium height, or if you want to take the lowest height, that's okay as well. If you're feeling really ambitious, maybe you go tall. I'm going to go on a medium height. And we're just going to hop our leg over and in between these two blocks. So taking 1, 2 hops, and then 1, 2 hops back. The way that we'll do this is by really compressing the leg into the core space. So if you're working on press-up handstands, this is really helpful. It's how I train. So we'll go ahead and lift the toe up and over and then settle it down. Inhale, lift it up and over and then set it down. Press the femur in towards the hip bone. Really engage the core up and over and all the way back. Nice work. We'll do a few more reps of that. Inhaling up and over to the center and back to the outside. Couple more. You got it. Up and center, up and back side. One more. Up and center, and then up, and then back over to the side. Nice work. From here, you can move the blocks over to the opposite side, but we're going to take a couple minutes stretching before we get there. So let's reach the right arm over the right leg and pivot the waist so that the left hand comes to meet the right. And then exhale, fold over that right leg. Maybe the elbows come to the floor, maybe not. But notice what's happening with the hips as you reach over that leg. Do your left toes fall for the floor? And if so, can you try and pivot them back so that that hip stays open as well? Good work. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's inhale, slowly raise the chest. And then as you exhale, plant the right arm so that it's on the inside of the right leg. Palm can face up. Maybe it even grabs hold of right foot. And left arm comes up and over. Nice big side bend here. Inhaling and exhaling. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Spiral heart towards sky. Maybe gaze lifts. And then as you exhale, slowly come up to a seated position. And we'll take that on the opposite side. So right hand in front, left hand behind. We're gonna press the leg as if it's pressing into the hip joint, and we're gonna really be strong in the core, and then engage the quad to lift the toes up and over, and up to the center, and then back, and then all the way open. Just like that, you got it. Let's do it again. Up and center, and up and over. Keep it going, up and center, and up, outside. Last time, up, actually two more, and center, up, and over. Last time for real, up, and center, and up, and over. Good job. Whew, shake it out. You can take those blocks, you can move them anywhere you want. We're gonna reach the left hand over, pivot the waist so that the right hand follows, and then exhale, fold forward over that left leg. Let the forehead melt. Feel the stretch here. So we're really focusing on, as the chest lowers, we're focusing on pressing that lower leg down into the floor, giving this some traction, some grounding, making it a really active stretch. Next inhale lifts the trunk, and we're gonna set our left hand on the inside now of our left leg and reach the right arm up and over, taking a side bend. And then inhale, come all the way back up till center. And here you might move your blocks in front of you. We're gonna take our first wide-legged forward fold. And maybe those blocks make like a bolster in front of you, and you lay the belly down across them as you work on rotating the hips externally. So that means the toes are trying to point backwards and away from you. Really engage the quads. And the blocks here are serving as a place for you to land so that you can focus your efforts on the legs. If you feel like, I don't need them, or maybe you don't have them, or maybe you don't want them, you can set them to the side and use your forearms or make a little stack with your fists and let your forehead rest there. But whatever we're doing, we're really focusing on what's happening to the legs. If we were in a class together, I might even be inviting you to work with another student to try and rotate those hips open a little bit more. So we're really focusing there, giving yourself more space to fold. Rather than rounding through the back body and finding this fold with our forehead, we're finding it in the hip joints. Take a few rounds of deep breath. If you notice yourself start to shudder, or if it starts to feel easy, I invite you to, with the breath, move to a space that feels like a challenge. You're inviting yourself to find your edge and then noticing what happens when you get there. Next, inhale brings the gaze forward, and as you exhale, walk it back. If you've got those blocks in front of you, we'll move them on off to the side. And we're gonna grab underneath the knees, and then bring the hips to wider than hip distance, hands plant behind the hips, and we'll just windshield wiper nice and slow. Couple of times. Good work. We're gonna move through a little flow. It's gonna build some heat. And then we'll return to that wide leg fold and see what kind of progress we've made. So when you're ready, let's flip over and we will meet on our hands and knees. And on our hands and knees, maybe for fun today, we might even consider putting blocks under our hands. That can be a nice support for the wrists. Also, it's fun to just challenge the brain to try something new. And from here, we're gonna extend the right leg back and long. And then as you exhale, bend the leg and then lift the knee out to the side like a fire hydrant. Kick the leg off to the side and lower it down. Bend the knee, scoop the right knee back in. We'll take those circles. So straighten behind, bend the knee to the side, kick the leg out, lower, bend the knee, then straighten behind. You got it. Out to the side, kick it straight, lower the toes back in. Last time, kick it out. Bend the knee, kick it to the side, lower the toes, and bend it back in. Let's take the other side. Inhale, long with the left leg. And then as you exhale, bend out to that fire hydrant, kick the leg out straight, lower the toes, scoop the knee back in. Inhale, lengthen behind you, bend out to the side, kick it straight, tap the toes down. Bring everything back in, tabletop. Then inhale, lengthen behind. Bend the knee, kick it out, lower the toes, bend the knee. Straighten behind, fire hydrant, kick the leg out, tap the toes, bring it in. Last time, lengthen, open, kick. Press the toes down, and then let everything come back in to your knees. From here, we're going to move these blocks. I'm having a lot of fun with them today. And we are going to place forearms on the floor. And then you're going to take, and you're going to put your right knee on top of a block. You can put your left knee on top of a block, but we're not going to keep it there long. And we're going to extend the left leg long. Bend the foot, bend the knee, flex out the foot. And we're going to take little pulses. Pulse from the glute. So we're really strengthening the muscles around that hip joint right now, strengthening all of our booty muscles and legs. Keep pulsing, you got it. And then drop the left knee down. And then inhale, let's lift the right knee. Let's take some little pulses and just notice how this might feel different if we weren't using blocks. Like I said, they're a training tool, a prop, something fun. Nice work, pulsing, you got it. 3, 2, 1, and lower. And then let's come up to hands. And we're gonna set back on our toes, remove the blocks out from underneath of you. And come into that tabletop position once more, but this time with our toes tucked under. And we're gonna exhale, send the hips high, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Take a few breaths to get acquainted with the posture. And then let's sweep the right toes high. Square off the hips for just a moment. Maybe it'll feel like the right toes aren't as high as they could be. That's okay. And then open up the hip, bend the right knee, and let's take some big circles with the hip here. One direction. Nice, juicy circles. And then the other direction. Good work. And then with your next exhale, let's pull the right knee in and forward so that it reaches towards the nose, high plank. And then we're going to step the right foot all the way forward and through. Inhale, arms come up, crescent lunge. Exhale, drop right hand back, left hand forward. A little bit of a twist here. Inhale. And as you exhale, sweep the right hand forward and lower the back knee. Low lunge. Take a few pulses forward, lowering the hips towards the heel. Just feeling what that feels like. Maybe it's even fun here. Grab hold of a block and push into it with the hands. So you're getting a little workout in the shoulder too. We're pulsing. And then from here, let's inhale. Lift the arms up high overhead, straighten through the front leg, pull the toes back. And we'll see if we can exhale. Take that block if you've got it and set it down in front of your right foot. Nice and gentle, nice job. Inhale, plant the palms. And as you exhale, fold a little deeper. Pull the right hip back. Now we're going to play with that block in front of us. So if you didn't put it there before, go ahead and grab it. Inhale, lift the heart. Come onto fingertips. And we're going to lift the heel up off the ground. Again, doing that same pressure that we were putting it back into our hip bones, that same compression. We're going to lift the heel up and see if we can tap it to the top of a block. Maybe you keep it on middle, maybe you keep it on a its shortest version, but whatever we're doing, we're inhale, lifting the heel, setting it on top of the block. Nice work. And then exhale, tap it down. Inhale, back to the top of the block. And then lower. You got it. Inhale, top of the block. Use the core. Exhale, lower. Last time, top of the block. You got it. And then as you exhale, bend into the knee. So you're now on the block. And let the hips reach forward. Arms reach high. Fun little addition. Good work. Then as you exhale, plant the palms, sweep the right heel back so we land in a three-legged dog. Nice work. Inhale, open the right, or a three-legged tabletop, sorry. Inhale, open the right hand to the sky. You're in a little baby half moon here. And then as you exhale, let's go ahead and bring the right palm down. Bring the right knee down. Tuck the toes under and send it back. Downward facing dog. Good work. Take a few breaths. Inhale, sweep the left toes high. Keep the hips squared for just a moment. Press the toes up and the left hip down. And then open left hip to sky and drop the heel back. Take some real big circles with the hip here. Nice work. One direction. And then the other direction. And then let's bring the knee in towards nose. And then step it forward and through. Grab hold of that block that's still in front of you. Inhale, reach it overhead. Press the arms together. And then as you exhale, let's bring the block in front of you and set the knee down behind you. Good work. Inhale here. And as you exhale, pulse forward, giving a little bit of weight towards that front heel and really feeling the strength in the glutes, especially of that front bent leg. Then exhale, send the hips back, flex the toes, reach the heart forward, reach the hands forward, reach the block forward, and then set it down in front of the left toes. Nice work. Inhale, lengthen out, flatten the palms against the earth. And exhale, fold forward, half split. Good work. Now you can keep that block wherever it feels good, on the medium height, the short height, or extra challenge, go for the tall height. It's your life, you live it. And then press onto the fingertips, compress the hip, the leg, the femur into the hip joint, and lift that heel up. Tap it on top of the block. Exhale to lower. Woo. Inhale to lift, and lower. And lift, you got it. And lower, use the core. Lift and lower. Last time, lift, keep it there. And then as you exhale, bend in that front leg. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Nice. Extended lunge. Good work. Inhale here. And as you exhale, sweep the hips back, plant the palms, and sweep the heel all the way back, landing in a three-legged tabletop. Inhale, open the hips to the side, reach the left arm up. We're in that baby half moon shape. Inhale here. You got it. And then exhale, lower the left hand and lower the left knee. From here, we'll set the blocks aside and we're going to roll forward onto our bellies and then turn over onto one side. Maybe we'll turn over onto our right side altogether. And we're just going to do a few leg lifts so that we're feeling nice and strong. Get a little bit of work here. So right arm lowers onto the earth parallel with the short side of your mat. And we're gonna, from here, just lift the left toes up and lower. Lift and lower and lift and lower. And maybe you're like, I could do more. Then go ahead and lift both legs and hover the right leg while you lift and lower. We'll do 10, 9, squeeze the inner thighs, 8. Keep it going, you got it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep this side. Bring the knees together in front of you and click the heels together a little bit higher up. We're going to do some clamshells. So we're going to open left leg and then close. Open and close. Open and close. 10 more. 10. 9, you got it. Keep the core strong. 8. You got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Let's roll all the way over onto the belly. And from here, we're going to place the fingertips at the temples. We're going to inhale, lift the heart slightly off the floor. And as you exhale, lift the legs. And we'll just hold for a moment. See if you can lift the legs a little higher. Point through the toes, squeeze the thighs together, engage the glutes. You got it. Nice locust pose here. And exhale, lower the feet. And then let's roll over to the left side of our body. I'm going to change direction so that I'm facing you, but you don't have to. Just roll over to the left side. So left elbow props the body. And again, we're going to take those leg lifts. Right hand can center in front of you, engage through the core. And we're going to lift the right leg. And maybe you lift the left leg and hover it too. Your choice. But we'll go for a few rounds. Lifting, pointing through the toes, squeezing the legs. So we're not just like loosely throwing the leg around here. We're really engaging. Let's do 10. 9. You got it. 8. Nice and solid. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good work. Then pull the knees in towards chest. Let the knees settle, but the heels are lifted up about as high as your top hip. And then we'll open the right leg, clamshelling. Open and close. Open and close. You got it. Open and close. Keep the heels together and close. 10 more. 10. 9. You got it. 7. 5. Don't give up. You're capable. 3. 2. 1. Good work. Excellent. Let's roll over onto the belly one more time. Take one more round of locust. Put the fingertips by the head. Inhale, lift the heart. And as you exhale, lift the toes. Squeeze the booty. Squeeze the heels together. You got it. Maybe you even circle hands around behind you, interlacing behind the back. Lift up a little higher. Everywhere. You got it. And exhale, lower. From there, press yourself up to your knees. And we're going to turn and return one last time to that wide-legged forward fold. And we'll see what's the difference from the beginning of our practice to here at the end. So think about the femurs plugging into the sock joint. Ball and socket rolls itself on open. Inhale, lift the heart. And as you exhale, you begin to walk forward. Maybe the blocks meet you. Maybe a bolster. Maybe fists. Or maybe the floor. And we take a few rounds of breath. Feeling stronger, more flexible in body and mind. And as always, so capable. Take one more exhale, and then gently begin to walk yourself back to a seated position. Grab hold of the knees underneath with your hands and pull the bottoms of the feet together. And let's land in a Sukhasana, an easy pose to close out our practice today. Closing down the eyes, taking a minute, hands in the lap or maybe at heart center to reflect on the practice. If a Shavasana is calling to you, please feel free to take it. But if not, then just take a moment to gather your energy, maybe at your third eye space or maybe where the hearts are, the heart is. Thank you for sharing this practice with me today. May you go about the rest of your day or night in peace. Namaste. Hope to see you next time, y'all.